Live from the home of Al Capone, Michael Jordan, and Deep Dish Pizza. Giving it to you straight from the horse's mouth. Unfiltered and restoring hope to the podcast universe. Gary Franchi.
Yeah, that's me, and I'm here with my beautiful bride, Angie Franchi. How you doing?
We're back.
Welcome.
I'm good.
Welcome back. You feeling better, honey?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, everybody, sorry we missed last week.
Yeah, it was a little rough week for a lot of us. A lot has happened in the last week.
Overwhelmingly amount of stuff
Yeah, I
going
shaved
on.
my beard.
Yes, the children do not recognize
They're like,
you.
Daddy, who's Daddy? What happened to Daddy? Right?
You're an imposter.
Yeah, Angelo said I'm an imposter.
Our 5-year-old, yeah.
I
He's
decided
so
to
cute.
shave my beard for my birthday. Happy birthday to me.
Happy 43rd
Am I 43?
birthday. Yeah,
Wow, I still feel like I'm like 19.
you are, baby.
Oh, that's great though, isn't
You're
it?
young at heart.
Oh, you have to be. You have to be.
Yeah,
Especially with the world we're living in right now. Everything's so unpredictable.
It is. Our kids keep us young.
They do.
Yeah, I like looking at the world through their eyes. It's a far better place to be sometimes.
You know, these days it really is. Mm-hmm. Because you have to, we got a lot of news we're going to cover today on the show. But this is hard stuff to digest every day, especially for me, because I'm in the news every single day. And then when you can sit back with your kids and push them on a swing and just listen to their voices, it's a wonderful escape.
It is a beautiful, beautiful time with them. Like when we're done here, we go in the yard with them. We look at the garden we've begun with our kids. And it's peaceful, and it's just the way it should be.
Yeah, it's really wonderful. And so now I'm 43, shaved my beard.
It's growing back.
I got to grow it back though, because I looked at myself. I'm like, I don't even recognize myself.
You look exactly the way I met you.
Really?
Because you really just had a goatee when we met and a mustache.
Yeah.
You were a baby. You were like 22.
22? Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe. Mm-hmm. We've been together for a long time.
Forever.
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 You know what tomorrow is, Angie?
4th of July, baby.
Independence Day.
Mm-hmm.
And
happy 4th, everybody.
Yeah, happy 4th of July, everybody.
Let's
happy Independence
celebrate big
Day.
this time.
We're going to celebrate freedom, legalizing freedom.
Yeah.
That's where we're here today, why we're here today. Because we want to remind everybody that freedom isn't free. You know, that's a word that's often thrown around a lot, but America is under assault right now.
It's some seriously sad and terrifying times, actually, yeah.
The foundational fabric of this nation is now being threatened by radical Marxists. They're tearing down statues. They're attacking institutions.
I just think it's too violent and too aggressive to even get anything accomplished at this point.
But that's what they want. They want to destabilize the country.
Yeah, I mean, they're really working at breaking up the foundation, aren't they?
Well, not just the foundation, but our frickin' pancake syrup. Okay? Our pancake syrup is under attack.
The family of I'm sorry, I don't know her name, but the
Oh, Aunt Jemima.
Aunt Jemima. But what was her real name? Was that her?
I don't remember.
Was Jemima her real name? I don't know.
No.
But
That
the
was the
family
character.
of that character, of that
Yeah.
woman who it was, who was on the bottle of the syrup, they were outraged. They're like, "What are you doing? What are you doing to our family's history? This was our grandmother's or great grandmother's legacy,
That's
right?"
their legacy. And then whenever they go to the grocery store, they can see their family legacy right there, and they're proud of that.
I saw a funny video of somebody in a grocery store, and they were pointing out at all the different stereotypes of the pasta, of Chef Boyardee.
Yeah, so there's an
If
Italian
it's
stereotype
Mexican
there.
food, it's a guy with a sombrero. If it's
Yeah.
Greek food, how often do we joke about my heritage?
Cafe au lait!
It's just, that's too much. No.
Yeah, no, I remember we were sitting in bed and you were watching it and you were laughing, and this guy's just mocking every single product that is
Hot sauce.
hot sauce, Chinese food, ling ling. All this stuff is everything is stereotyped, but it's not even stereotyped. It's part of the culture. You know, and when you go ahead and start erasing cultural icons, what do you got left? You got a bland, gray society that just looks like everything else does, and everything looks the same. Where is the diversity?
We want diversity.
But they don't want diversity. They want everything to be the same.
Just we want acceptance, and we want kindness, and we want people to stop being so violent. This is just crazy, man.
Well, they don't care. They want a violent revolution. That's why they're doing what they're doing. And they haven't stopped. I thought they were going to slow down, but they haven't stopped.
I heard, and I don't know if there's a big movement about this. I'm just starting to hear about, people not wanting to wear red, white, and blue or even acknowledge or observe the 4th of July. They're telling people to wear black and to protest the 4th now.
Those people, those are the same people that have taken advantage of every single freedom that we have in this country. They don't even realize it. They take it for granted. I want to see them go to Singapore. I want to see them go to, some country, Venezuela. How about that? Go to some of those countries, live there for 6 months, and then come back and you tell me what country's better. I got a story. I don't know if it's in my notes here today. Mm-hmm. We got a lot of stories. We're going to talk about Jeffrey Epstein, the I'm a stab you girl.
I'm a stab you girl. Oh,
Boston
girl.
protesters. We've got what happened in Illinois with Governor Pritzker. Trump visiting Mount Rushmore. So, what was I saying? I totally lost my train of thought.
I kind of blacked you out. I don't know.
You do that sometimes.
You were saying we've got some stories here that we're going to cover.
But just before that, I was getting into another story.
I don't remember. Damn it, Gary. This is what happens when you have little children.
No, this is what happens when you turn 43.
Oh.
Ooh.
It's a little bit of that, too.
No, seriously, what was I talking about?
4th of July.
Okay, yes.
People
the 4th
comment
of July.
below.
Okay. Yeah, comment below if you remember what I just said. No, the 4th of July, right? And the independence and celebration of it.
It's so upsetting.
The DNC deleted a tweet this week. Did you see this?
No.
They deleted a tweet this week, and in the
this.
tweet, they said that celebrating the 4th of July is akin to celebrating white supremacy. The DNC.
Oh, so they're the ones who started this.
Yeah, they're the ones. They put out the tweet. They deleted the tweet, by the way. And it was because President Trump was going to Mount Rushmore. In fact, I do have that in my show notes, and that's going to be later on. We have more details on that.
Wow.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that it's the last story in the show today. But I do want to mention our sponsor, Noble Gold Investments.
Yes.
This is a new sponsor for us, and if you're looking for a way to protect your retirement and you want to know the best way to do that, I want you to call our friends 877-646-5347. My buddy Colin over there, if he may be answering the phone or someone else. But I trust these guys with investment and with gold. There's a lot of people on television you'll see like, oh my goodness.
Right.
If you watch the commercials on TV, I've been told that some of those guys are pretty shady. Those are pretty
Not
shady.
surprised.
And Noble Gold, they are literally the gold standard when it comes to converting your IRA into gold. And especially with the market fluctuations we're seeing, the market is starting to come back, but you still want to make sure that you have a portion of your retirement in gold. Very, very important to do because gold is, it's standard. It's stood the test of time.
It's what you want. And these are the guys to work with. Yeah. We've been with them for many years now.
And they've been supporting us, and they've been supporting Next News, and now they're a new sponsor for the GCast. So that number on the screen is 877-646-5347. Give them a call when you can, and tell them Gary and Angie sent you. Now, going back into the story, should we get into this? They got her, Angie. They got her. Finally, they got her.
And how funny were the memes right away after that?
Oh, I couldn't stop. You
were on a roll.
I'm sitting there. I'm like, oh, I got to make some memes right now. And if you go to my Facebook, you'll see them.
I think people know what we're talking about. We want to get the scoop out of her before she is murdered.
And we're talking about Ghislaine, Ghislaine Maxwell. We
don't care. We don't really care.
I don't really care. She's a sick person, but I'm just wondering, like, how long do you think she's gonna last? I mean, she's apparently going to the same prison where her lover Jeffrey didn't commit suicide.
Right.
So I wonder how long she's gonna last there. Couple weeks?
I don't even think that, Gary. I mean, let's think about this. Two things are happening. People are A, wondering when she's going to be murdered, and B, the other people who are freaking out right now, since he was done and killed, now that she's come forward, all those people, all those men, those nasty men who were involved or whomever was involved with them are freaking out right now. That's what's happening.
It says Maxwell may end up at the Metropolitan Corrections Center. Rats, sewage, and gulag conditions may await her at the same prison which became the tomb of her pal Jeffrey Epstein.
Her pal.
British socialite
Monsters.
may face being locked up in the infamous Metropolitan Correctional Center. Zero Hedge states that assuming that she doesn't wind up with the means to kill herself in her jail cell, and assuming those who are supposed to be watching her 24 hours a day don't take any well-timed coffee breaks, she will be naming names and fully cooperating with the FBI, according to former associate of Jeffrey Epstein. That is according to the Daily Mail. Epstein's former employer, Stephen Hoffenberg, said that Maxwell knows everything and will totally cooperate.
What?
In addition, they write Prince Andrew, who's been nudging further and further towards the center of the Epstein-Maxwell controversy, is among those very worried about what she might reveal. She's, quote, she's going to cooperate and be very important. Andrew is definitely concerned, Hoffenberg said. So this, of course, the arrest happened on Thursday morning. That was one heck of a wake-up call. I looked at my phone. I'm like, whoa, they just got her.
There's hope.
And then the memes came.
There's hope. I just want it all to come out. I want it all to come out. But now we're finding out new information that she herself is being accused of raping.
Well, she was part of the whole thing. I mean, she was there. She was procuring the women for Jeffrey, and she was participating in a lot of those activities. And she was raping the girls with Jeffrey, and repeatedly. I mean, we just saw a clip on the news. One girl says she's coming forward. She's willing to testify. She said that she was raped 30 times, at least 30 times
by her,
by Ghislaine, whatever her name is.
Between the ages of 14 and 16.
Between the ages of 14 and 16. So that's why, with everything that's going on with this, with the Maxwell story, and all the this could potentially bring down the largest and most powerful ring of abusers in the world.
Certainly, yes.
And it's funny that a couple years back, when these types of topics started to bubble to the surface, everyone's like, "Oh, it's a conspiracy. You're just a nut. Don't talk about that. There's no such thing." Well, guess what? It's now front page news. Okay. How many times have the conspiracy theorists been mocked and ridiculed only to be justified in their stories years later? Happens every time.
Happens a lot. It's
really, really frustrating.
That's people trying to protect themselves because what's real and what's happening. They insulate themselves. They insulate themselves from the reality. But us, the conspiracy theories, me particularly, not you necessarily, I don't want to lump you into my crazy world. I'm in the same boat
welcome
as
to
you.
it, babe.
I like it. I'll take a ticket on that train.
You want a ticket on the crazy train?
Mm-hmm. I'm down.
I know you are, babe. I know. You got a front row ticket, front row seat.
Because I know what matters most, and that is fighting.
It's fighting for what's right.
Fighting for what's right, and what's wrong is wrong.
And then when you go ahead and call it out, then they just turn around, they attack you, they call you names, they ridicule you, and then what happens? Then you're right, and then they join you. Or they just continue to put their head in the sand. I'm so sick of it.
I just sit back now, and because there's so much that unfolds so quickly, I just sit back and I listen and I watch. I won't engage. I won't. It's not.
So here's
the truth comes out. The truth always comes out.
We're gonna play a clip here. If you could prep that clip, Brian. I did a story this week. It went viral, Angie.
Which one, babe?
It's about that Harvard grad students.
Oh, I did not want to see this, but you have to see this.
If people haven't seen it yet, I'm sure you probably have. I mean, obviously, if you're watching the Next News Network, you've seen it. You see my commentaries on it. It's pretty troubling, to say the least.
This is who you don't want to be.
The recent Harvard grad, I guess her name's Clara Janover, posted a video Wednesday saying she lost her job.
Clara, is
that how you say it?
Yeah.
Clara?
Uh-huh.
Why do I miss... Dude, I'm the worst at names. I am the worst. Seriously, I botch names all day long.
It's all right.
Yeah, I'm only human.
I'm only human.
What song is that? What is that?
Hold on a second. Damn it. I know every 80s song.
I know you do.
Someone say it in the comments.
Yeah, what song is that?
Human League.
Human League? By who?
That's the name of the band, Human League.
What's the name of the song, though?
I'm Only Human.
Hello.
All right, continue this game later.
Whatever her name is, posted a video saying she lost her job as a result of her "I'ma stab you."
Are you surprised,
"I'ma stab you" video. Are you surprised? This is where we are in the country today. You can see on the screen there, the original video. She said, for legal reasons, this is a joke.
For legal reasons.
That was she put that underneath the original video. The original video is so sickening.
Why was it a joke to begin with, honey?
Yeah, who jokes about that? Who jokes about stabbing people? Okay? Apparently
you can't protect yourself,
the
sweetheart.
woke BLM culture thinks it's funny to joke about that. But sadly, now we have a child who's multiple people dead because of the BLM movement over there in the Chaz zone that just got demolished. We're going to talk about that
We
too.
will talk about that.
Brian, let's roll this first clip here and then we'll react to it.
Next person who has the sheer nerve, the sheer entitled caucasity to say all lives matter, I'm gonna stab you. I'm gonna stab you. And while you're struggling and bleeding out, I'm gonna show you my paper cut and say,
bleeding out.
My cut matters too.
How sick is that? That's a sick person. That is a sick,
I
twisted,
really
evil
hope-
person.
I really hope that they're keeping an eye on her.
Well, you know, she's not alone in that train of thought. She's not alone. There are many people that feel that way.
Yeah.
They wish harm upon people who support President Trump, conservatives, people who support the Constitution, or even if the color of your skin happens to have less pigment than another person.
The problem that I'm seeing is, the voices that like from, unfortunately, the celebrities get their voices heard, right, more often than we should really hear from them. But people who are known Democrats, people who are known to be against our president right now, come forth and say, hey, we can be different. We can have different point of views, but this is not okay. Stand up for what's right here. Stand up for what's wrong and tell people that this is not okay.
And you're right by that, by saying, because there is a vacuum. There's a vacuum in leadership. No one is stepping forward to denounce any of these activities at the highest levels of the Democrat Party.
Get to work.
Schumer, Pelosi, all of them, they're just sitting back and watching the whole country burn down, and they're not even denouncing it. Then they point the finger at Trump and blame him like it's his fault.
Just stop this hate.
Over what a cop did in Minneapolis, somehow it's President Trump's fault that people took to the streets. No, it's a well-organized, Soros-funded Marxist revolution that they're using the excuse of George Floyd's death to go ahead and move forward with it. That's what this is really about.
It's been taken over by some really bad people.
They have taken George Floyd, and they have used his name his video. They've taken him.
Yeah.
And just used him as their excuse to move forward with their movement and to create massive havoc.
His own family came forward, and George Floyd's family, stop. This is not what we call for.
They did.
Nonviolence. There's certain people I follow on the internet, and Be a King is a Facebook page of the Martin Luther King family. And they are always speaking the voice of reason, and they are also saying nonviolence is key here.
Be King, I interviewed her, and she said the same thing. You can't behave like this.
This is where we separate. The color is not going to separate us. It's the violence. It's the people who want to be violent, and it's the people who want to get things done without violence,
And the other point I want to make here is that we are all the same race. We're all part of the human race, bottom line. And when everyone sits around and starts pointing out everyone's skin color, I mean, we were watching a show last night, and there was the news broadcast? And I think it was news. And they kept saying, black person this, white person that, black person this, white person that. And they were driving this racial division, this racial narrative.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, if you go back on my Facebook page, you see a clip from Morgan Freeman saying, look, don't call me a black American, and I'm not going to call you a white American.
It was I forget the candidate's name.
Oh,
she was a
Stacey
black
Abrams.
woman. And she's like, it's the media being lazy to not do their work, to do a good job in explaining to people who I am and describing me that they choose just to call out my color. She herself says this, it's
I'm not a fan of Stacey Abrams, but she's right on that point.
It's very often that women, this is just known, women, their age and their color is always brought up in any article. It's always brought up. It's the media doing it.
The media does drive the race division in this country, and the Democrats continue to manipulate identity politics, driving a wedge between all of the different people, whether they're black or they're white or they're gay or they're straight or they're Christian or they're Muslim, whatever they do. They isolate the special interest groups, they pander to those groups, and then they control them. Because a country is much easier to control if you have them divided.
Yeah, let's not be divided anymore, people. We love you all.
We love you guys. We're going to be back on the other side of this break. What's happening in Boston right now is pretty ridiculous. Speaking of more division, but we're going to get to that in a second. We will see you on the flip side. I said flip side. I'm supposed to stop doing that. Oh, yeah, wake up with GCast. Get your coffee before you go.
Get your coffee.
Wake up with GCast.
Non-GMO deliciousness.
All right, we'll see.
Cute.
All right.
The GCast will be right back after this short break from our sponsors. After Hours is back.
Welcome back to the GCast. I forgot to do something in the last segment, and that was to call up the second video of the I'ma Stab You girl.
It's worth watching.
It really is, because it's her crying and blaming everyone else for what she did. What she did. People not taking responsibility for themselves.
Mental breakdown.
Brian, I want you to cue that up real quick. It's the second clip for that story. And also remember, go to noblegoldinvestments.com to get your Gold IRA. Very important that you do that. Okay, so let's roll that clip of, what's her name? Clara Janover.
Clara.
She's blaming blaming Trump supporters for something that she did. Ooh.
Can't do that, sweetheart.
This is what Trump supporters wanted. Because standing up for Black Lives Matter put me in a place online to be seen by millions of people. The job that I had worked really hard to get and meant a lot to me just called me and fired me because of everything. I don't know if everyone's seen, but it's been circulating a lot. My Black Lives Matter TikToks were picked up by conservatives and spread and shared, and people were demanding that I be fired, which I just got. The job that I worked really hard for. Even though they claim to stand against systematic bias, racism, and unequal treatment, so do the thousands of Trump supporters sending me hate messages, death threats, and violent messages. I'm still not going to stop talking about and defending Black Lives Matter. You can't take away my spirit and my devotion towards human rights.
Human rights, except if you're, what did she say, cock entitled or something?
Yeah, she's nuts.
Totally nuts, that girl.
She just, no, honey, you have some issues that need to be checked.
She blames Trump supporters for conservatives picked up my video on TikTok and they spread it around. No, honey, you published something to the internet.
Yeah.
You went viral because you're stupid.
She's off of a rocker.
Oh yeah,
here.
totally.
Like it's scary. Yeah. It's scary. I almost, as I'm watching, I'm like, is this like plotted out? Like was she playing us?
I don't. No, I mean she went.
Or
she just attacked Deloitte, the
crazy
company that was going to hire her.
Okay.
She's like, look up. They said they stand with diversity and equality. Well, look what they did to me. Nah, honey. You said you want to stab people, watch them bleed out, and then mock them as they're dying.
If you have some friends, Clara, and they're watching, please go do a wellness check on your friend. Yeah. Step in and check on her.
If you know Clara, go and do a wellness check.
She's not in a good place right now.
She's not.
She needs some help.
Not so tough talking now. Not so tough talking now. So I'm going to stab you, girl. Just got fired, and that's what happens. And, she doesn't want to take responsibility.
But, yeah, I mean, don't represent people who are for black rights or any rights by presenting yourself as somebody who wants to murder white people.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That's not how you do
That's not
anything.
Human rights. I'm going to stand up for human rights, but I'm going to watch a Caucasian get stabbed and bleed out. Look at my little paper cut. It matters too.
No, obviously this is nuts, and she's
a lunatic.
Yeah,
and I'm glad that she's not.
This is
didn't
unacceptable.
Get that job. She belongs.
No,
she belongs in a mental home. She needs to get her meds checked. Okay, speaking of medication, yep, here we have yet another example. Brian, you can ready the next clip. This is happening in Boston. Boston bending to protesters.
Oh man. Okay, so the statue.
Did you see what
paid
statue
for?
it was?
Yeah, I know what statue this is. This was mind blowing to me. The statue was paid for by where is it?
There it is. There's the picture of it.
I lost my spot.
That's Abraham Lincoln, the guy who freed the slaves, who led an army. Okay.
The statue was funded largely by contributions from former slaves.
Huh. Okay, so you're going to tear that down?
But the protesters, their voices matter more than the families of the former slaves who paid for this statue to represent their agony and what they've endured. But the protesters, their voices are more important. We're talking about ancestors of these slave owners.
Angie,
or these slaves.
Angie, they're offended.
Yeah.
It's offensive.
Yeah, I'm offended.
It's offensive. Ooh. Look at the statue. I can't even bear to cast my eyes upon it.
It's much. It's too much.
Okay, so can you bring up the statue full screen? We're going to take a closer look at this thing.
Perhaps they did this just to make, like they're caving in. Like, okay, here, take it.
Yeah.
It's been up for 100 years. We can let it go if you guys just stop, right?
Okay, so here you have it. It's Abraham Lincoln
know.
standing over a slave who is now free. Abraham Lincoln fought the freaking Civil War. Thousands upon thousands of American men and women died in this war so that we can have freedom for all people. Free the slaves. And now they want to tear this down. I mean, look at that thing. Isn't that couldn't you teach from that? Isn't that a teaching element right there?
That's a very good point.
But
I don't want to hide it. I don't want to hide these things. I don't like to. Big stuff, big conversations like this. This is exactly what you're saying, Gary. These are talking, conversational pieces. When we go to DC with our kids, like these are things that we want to talk about with them.
That's how you teach them. You bring them, like if you bring your children to DC, and there are so many memorials there that tell a story. And there's actually this is a smaller version of the Emancipation statue that's in Washington D.C. that they wanted to take down. And they won't take down. But Boston apparently has got no balls. I thought Boston was. I thought they had some backbone there. I guess not. I mean, New York, they're taking down Teddy Roosevelt's statue.
We have a lot of history to go through.
Columbus,
a lot to discuss.
Columbus statue's going down. George Washington statue's going down. Thomas Jefferson statue's going down. Seriously? I mean, these people are not American. I mean, they are, and they're not. If you don't respect the history of this country and the freedom that you have received and been inherited, the freedom you've inherited from these types of actions, what are you doing here? GTFO.
It took me a second. I've never heard that before. Did you make that up?
No, but people out there understand what I'm saying because I don't like to curse on my show. But.
I get it. But you really you hit a major point there. A major point. How can we talk about our history? It's not, we talk with our kids about as much as they can handle. They're very young, right? But again, that's what museums are for me. We discover and discuss different cultures and different times in our nation's history in the world. If you don't have an opinion and I don't have an opinion because this suddenly doesn't exist anymore, like where are the lessons learned from it? Do they disappear?
Someone actually attacked me for holding that position, that using the statues as teaching items, teaching moments. They said it was like white supremacist, or it was like that's part of the problem.
No, I don't want to hide the bad things that have happened in this world for my children. I don't.
You can't rewrite history and expect it's not going to happen. You can't. It doesn't go. You can't rewrite history. It has happened.
It's happened. I mean, does this really do anything?
No. It just makes a couple angry people happy.
It's the protesters, but not the contributions. Yep. They were made by former slaves.
I believe, do we have a video clip from, I think we do. This is from
That's something else.
WBZ4, maybe? Is that what this is from?
Houston's Art Commission says it will remove the Emancipation Group statue from its location in Park Square. It was designed to memorialize Abraham Lincoln as the great emancipator, and it shows Lincoln standing over an enslaved man who was kneeling in front of him with shackles on his wrists. Well, that man in the statue is Archer Alexander, who assisted the Union Army escape slavery and then was recaptured under the Fugitive Slave Act. Local artist Tory Bullock's petition calling for the statue's removal garnered more than 12,000 signatures, saying its depiction does not truly represent freedom.
12,000 signatures is all it took? 12,000? Give me a break.
Oh, wow.
It's been...
Yeah, that doesn't seem...
It's been in that park, it's been in that square for more than 100 years, Angie. And now they're triggered by it.
Again, talk to the families who paid for that to be put there as a reminder of what their families endured directly. That's where I stick with the families.
It's like the family of Aunt Jemima, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, are they going to, what about, I don't want, it's just so frustrating, Angie. Let's talk about what's happening here in Illinois. This is really good news. People up in arms, of course, because they love their slavery. They love their servitude.
Scary.
Well, they do. It's like, I post the press conference of this announcement of an Illinois judge voiding Governor Pritzker's order.
You got attacked.
I post it, and people are just like, it's misinformation and you're posting fake news. No, it's a judge's order, dude. And it's like all these people have politicized this thing to such a degree that even when a judge overrules an executive order, they think they go back to the right-left paradigm of the entrenchment rather than looking at it as a individual freedom thing.
It's clear to me. I mean, I have no problem with distinguishing the two.
I mean, people want to wear their mask, Angie. They want to wear their mask. They want to keep the economy
You can't win
closed.
with that, bro. Sorry.
You
cannot win with that. Okay? Restaurants are open, right? You are able to come into restaurants and you don't have to wear a mask, but your server is wearing a mask, but you are the big jerk because you're not wearing a mask in the restaurant.
Right.
I'm there because I want to support my community and jobs, and they've opened, so they're hoping people come in, I'm assuming, right?
It was wild going out to dinner for my birthday.
You can't win. Now, I'm just saying, people are upset about that. Here's a situation where you're not required to wear a mask, but you're a jerk. Why don't you wear a mask while you eat?
The mask shaming is unreal.
Yeah.
The story here is a Southern Illinois judge on Thursday voided Democrat Governor J.B. Pritzker's CV lockdown orders. The Illinois Attorney General office is expected to appeal. Siding with Representative Darren Bailey, Judge Michael McCaney on Thursday said state law does not give the governors the authority to extend disaster proclamations past 30 days or activities and business via executive order. Now, Bailey said on Thursday outside the courthouse that this is a victory for freedom. This is a victory for the people of Illinois. There were folks there that had shirts on that said, "My governor is an idiot," and "Fire Pritzker." None of them appear to be wearing the face coverings required. Pritzker's spokeswoman, Emily Bittner, downplayed the significance of the ruling. Of course they did. Now, people, from what I understand, is, yes, the extension of these executive orders is null and void.
Okay.
But the health department still has the ability to go in and enforce public health code.
Okay.
So what this means is on a case-by-case basis, they can still go in and say, okay, this is the public health code at the moment, and we will enforce it. But they have to have the threshold to meet is so high that they cannot win in court against these people. They have to prove that they have to prove, beyond a reasonable doubt, that their enforcement of this code is legit. And if they can't do that, the sheer number of people and businesses, it's impossible for them to go out and enforce it. So in an instance, they might take one case and make that the test case and scare everybody else. That's what they usually do. They pick one, they scare everybody else.
Right.
Which could happen. But the fact is that Pritzker was dead wrong, unconstitutional, and I think he's going to pay for it when it's time for re-election.
He just might.
If he doesn't choke on a T-bone before then.
Gary.
Well, that's his problem, not mine. He just needs to chew slowly.
Oh.
Yeah. I wish him the best. Chew slowly, Governor. So that's a really good development. And it's amazing to see the people posting online, pushing back against this. Dude, it's a court ruling. The guy is acting extra, out of his
Someone has to remind people about...
Out of his authority.
Yeah. No, I'm just agreeing with you. People need to be reminded of what the law is and that you have a right to exercise that if need be. So...
Yeah. Well, I'm happy that that the ruling came down.
It was exciting.
But here's the thing. the press, the Chicago Tribunes, and all these other
how did they cover
outlets,
it?
They're spinning it.
Ooh.
They're spinning it like it was a loss.
Oh.
So when the media comes back, spins it as a loss, the people of the state are the ones who are going to, like, one girl was arguing with me online, and she said, well, I want to hear it in the press first. I said, well, how about you hear it from the guy who just won the case outside the press, outside the courthouse?
You're getting like
you're getting it filtered.
Yeah.
Your news is being filtered through the bias of the Chicago Tribune. Mm-hmm. But rather, you won't hear it from the person who actually won the case.
Right there, outside, right now.
And he's
while it's happening.
And he's an elected official.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild. You're getting the first scoop, and it's not.
It's not good enough. I want to hear it from the Chicago Tribune first.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Read me a bedtime story.
I told her to go watch MSNBC.
Oh. Yeah. It just comes down to that for you, huh?
Oh, I'm so like disgusted with people. You know, like they're so entrenched in their little position, in their bubble, their little safety, their safe space. Mm-hmm. You know, with their diapers on.
Yeah. Oh.
You know, and
I'm gonna find some good people to talk to. There's good people out there, baby.
What?
There's good, level-headed people to talk to out there.
I know. I do not want to contribute to the division, but sadly, everything that happens, it gets so much more frustrating day by day. Especially when you're dealing with trolls and idiots online.
Yeah, you deal with it way too much.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
So, did you hear what's happening tomorrow?
At Rushmore?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mount Rushmore. Hello. Trump is coming to town.
President Trump is coming to town.
He's headed to South Dakota. To the South Dakota landmark to kick off his 4th of July weekend. The president will enjoy a fireworks display with some 7,500 people who won't be required to wear masks or socially distance. The monument, featuring the faces of Presidents George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln, and Theodore Roosevelt, hasn't had fireworks since 2009 due to environmental concerns, according to Reuters.
When that happened, I remember when that story came out that they canceled the 4th of July at Rushmore because they're worried about like the explosions, the sounds, and like
disrupting,
like, the poor spotted owl's gonna have a headache tonight.
Was it that though, or were they worried about the structure of it? Like,
no, not the structure of the mountain. I think they may have been worried about like sparks burning stuff down or something. But okay, how many years have they been doing this? And all of a sudden, like, you get some tree hugger to come around and like, I'm gonna go ahead and you can't do that anymore because spotted owls are crying in the night.
Well, lucky for you, the fireworks are back.
Yeah.
In addition to fireworks, the event will feature Lakota storytellers, a military flyover, hoop dancers, and of course, President Trump will entertain the crowd.
I like how they wrote that. President Trump will entertain the crowd.
He does. He's one of the entertainers.
What's he going to do? Is he going to dance the jig or something?
Native Americans.
That was the first image I had. Have you seen that meme? There's a video of Trump dancing. And he's like, it's like a legit video that he was in or something. And he's doing this crazy dance.
Was he really dancing?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. Yeah. I got to see it.
Oh, yeah. Just type in, like, go to YouTube and type in, like, President Trump dancing, and you'll see it. It's like an old, like, 80s, like, he's wearing sunglasses or something, and it's like, there's like 20 different Trumps all, like, dancing. And he dances so funny, too.
That dude has seen that video. He's probably, like, sitting back laughing hysterically over himself. Native Americans who reportedly plan to protest during the trip have criticized Trump's visit for increasing the risk of spreading the virus and for celebrating U.S. independence in an area that is sacred to them.
Okay, so I get the sacred part, but we also have to remember that this is also a national park now, and this is the mountain.
Yeah.
And it's not going away.
Oh, man.
I mean, as many people as they want to destroy the monument, because they're going to come for Mount Rushmore next. I mean,
well, yeah, I've heard talks of that.
I mean, they're already taking down Washington and Jefferson statues. They're taking down Teddy Roosevelt, and they're taking down Abraham Lincoln. All 4 people who are on Mount Rushmore. Their statues have now been removed across the country. what's next? I mean, the only thing I can think of next really is like it's going to get to such a point. I think that at some point there could be a massive, massive terror attack. Some kind of terror attack, something huge that it'll either happen before the election or following the election to completely disrupt everything. And it's going to be staged by the people, you see the Antifa people, or another type of cell, a globalist-inspired cell that wants to go out and complete the destruction and chaos that Antifa and BLM have already created in the States.
Mm-hmm.
Because everything we've seen with President Trump, you got, the Russia collusion, they tried taking him down with that. They tried taking him down with the Ukrainian thing. Then they tried taking him down with blaming him for 100,000 dead in the pandemic. And now you got unrest in the streets. They're trying to blame him for that. Every single thing is being turned around and blamed on Trump because they're trying to get him out of office because he's the biggest threat to the globalists ever. He's the biggest threat because he's a nationalist. He's an American nationalist. He's not a white nationalist. He's an American nationalist. It means he loves his country.
Other people have different agendas right now, and they definitely have built up momentum and power. So
he's a threat to the global order.
Your theory isn't so far-fetched.
And if the globalists want to continue to move forward with their agenda, it wouldn't put it past me. We've seen them do massive terrorist attack before to bring the United States to heel. Okay, look back at 9/11. We saw what happened there. So it wouldn't put it past. I wouldn't put it past the globalists to try and do something. And I'm sort of on a tangent here because we're talking about Mount Rushmore. But as we move forward past the election, if President Trump wins, and I hope he does, all bets are going to be off, and I think the globalists are going to take even grander steps to try to stop him.
Buckle up.
Yeah.
Buckle up.
Just make sure you got your Franklin's Finest coffee in your cupboard because when it all goes down, you want to make sure you have wakeupwithgcast.com.
Make sure you have your coffee.
Make sure you have your coffee.
Well, here's what you were talking about. The Democratic National Committee, the DNC, tweeted at one point that Trump had disrespected Native Americans and that the event was glorifying white supremacy. It later deleted the tweet.
Yeah, so if you celebrate the 4th of July...
You can't erase the internet.
Yeah, you can't erase Twitter.
Yeah, it's not cool. Don't be saying that,
Celebrating the 4th of July is white supremacy?
Don't do that. Your brothers and sisters in the grave right now are not fist pumping you for making that call.
It's disgusting.
Don't do that.
Yeah, so that's where we are. Before we close, do you want to talk about what happened in the chop zone?
Yeah, this really what nailed it for me. I mean, this is where I drew the line, where I don't support any of what the hell they were trying to do in the chop zone. I've always been for protesting what you believe in. I am for non-violent protesting. I am for change. But what they did here is inexcusable, and it's been horrifying watching what's unfolded. And to learn of this father losing his son there and what he endured because of them, it's just, this is not what I want to live through. This is not what I want to see happen. I mean, it's just...
Okay, so the story here is the aggrieved father who lost his son at the chop zone received a call from President Trump, but not from the Seattle mayor, according to the Gateway Pundit.
Horace Lorenzo Anderson revealed he was not allowed to see his son in the hospital after his son was shot, and he was not allowed to see his son's body for a week after he died. Mr. Anderson said he has not been contacted by law enforcement, the mayor of Seattle, the governor of Washington, or any politician about the matter. Mr. Anderson cried and shared the feelings of a loving father who had suddenly lost his son.
And this was on the Hannity show.
Yes.
I saw bits and pieces of it. It was very difficult to watch. I remember him saying, say my son's name. Say my son's name.
Say his name. I'm sorry. Sorry, I didn't mean to swear again. Sorry. Say his name. Why aren't they?
Yeah, how come not marching in the street for him? Everyone's got George Floyd shirts on, and they're spray painting all over the world, George Floyd. But then they take this thing to such another level. They set up an autonomous zone in the middle of Seattle. Okay, they kick out all the cops. And this kid gets murdered, gunned down.
A young
black man. Yeah.
Mr. Anderson was shown a video of police begging the people. A video of police begging the people of CHOP to let them in, along with emergency personnel, to assist in his son's emergency care the night he was shot in CHOP. The father had not seen the video and was visually moved. Mr. Anderson had a good friend at his side. Go ahead, Gare.
Well, the blood is on Mayor Durkin's hands. The blood is on her hands.
She still has not called him or spoken to him.
She's garbage. She is human garbage. Walking human garbage. She sat there, it's going to be like the summer of love. We're going to have a potluck and everyone's going to be in a drum circle. Okay? People are being raped and murdered in that little zone because you want to capitulate to radical anarchists, and you have lost control of your city. She's being sued now. The city's being sued now. There were people who actually lived in that area that couldn't do anything.
They were afraid to come out.
They were afraid to come out because
businesses were shut.
Yeah, businesses were shut down. They had locked down. They put barricades up, and now multiple people are dead.
What are they doing?
Well, exactly. These people are afraid to enforce the law and to protect the law-abiding citizens. This is coming from the left.
This is all political.
This is political. It's coming from the left. And President Trump came forward and he said, look, I will help you. I'm here to help you clear out this autonomous zone. Just say the word.
Oh, no.
But she wouldn't accept his help, and now people are dead. Women have been raped because Durkin didn't want to stand up. And now you have a grieving father. You have victims.
You're fighting for black rights.
It's a joke.
That's not fighting for anyone's rights. That's adding to the chaos. So sad.
I don't know when this crazy stuff's going to stop. I don't think they'll ever. It's like they cannot accept the reality that President Trump is trying to help the country. They still haven't accepted the results of the 2016 election, and every single day they do one more thing to push back against him.
I don't want your help.
And now people are dying.
Work together. It's not
that hard.
It's not that hard, but it's not a possibility for people like this.
Put your differences aside. Put your political differences aside. Work for the betterment of all of Americans. That's all.
That's all.
That's all. We don't ask much more for that.
Perfectly said.
I think we can close out the show with that, and I think you, Brian,
yeah.
If you want to cue up that next clip.
What clip is
Angie
this?
doesn't know what this is.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Hey, everybody, happy 4th of July. Enjoy your loved ones. Enjoy your family and friends. We thank you, all who have served this country. We thank you tomorrow and every day in our hearts.
We do, yes. And all the veterans out there who have fought, all the people who hold up the rights enshrined by our founding fathers that were handed to us from the Creator, everyone who's out there fighting for those rights, we salute you today and tomorrow and every day. So celebrate the 4th of July, celebrate your freedom tomorrow, whether it's with fireworks or whether with barbecue. And just remember why we have this country. It's because people fought and died to preserve it, and now people are fighting to take that from us. And we need to, this 4th of July should mean more to you than ever. So with that being said, make sure you share the reports. Make sure you go to our sponsor. The link's down below. That is Noble Gold Investments. You get a free gold guide. If you do, you give them a call or hit the link. And we will see you next week.
See you next week, everyone.
Stay gold.
Thank you.
I'm ready on day one after more than 3 years in office. Why isn't Donald Trump ready? Mr. President, wake up. Get to work.
Gary.
There's so much more to be done.
Oh. What? Where did you get?
That's all we've got for you right now. Gary's gotta run. We thank you for tuning into our podcast. If you're hungry for more, head on over to Gary's Next News Network YouTube channel for the latest news and commentary on current events. Until next time, stay gold.